All right, all right. It is time to have a brilliant conversation with someone special, someone that I feel like is super close to my heart now because of what she does. I'm speaking about Efetobore. She's also known as Mommy Marho. Mommy Marho. Now, she is super skilled, she is super endowed, and she's someone who takes it upon herself to make sure that she takes care of displaced children. Can we say that? Displaced children from abuse, from what else? What else do you really do?
Okay, if we call them displaced, it makes them feel less appealing. Okay. So I gave them a name called Docte.
Docte.
Yes.
All right.
And it means disadvantaged and underprivileged children, teenagers, and youth. Okay. So the essence of the Docte, it's a mission drive, is to be able to care for them, feed them, and then educate them. So my home is opened in my community in Aja, where we have 54 children and 25 youths. We open our doors for feeding, clothing, hygiene. They use the toilets, the bathroom, because a lot of them don't have homes to stay in. And then we educate them. All right. So I have tutors and the rest.
Awesome, awesome. Now, the first time we met, when we had, I was somewhere just listening to you speak, and then you were talking about the children, and then what really got to me was the name, the brand name, Mommy Marho. Mommy Marho. Yes. And I know you were telling the story to someone else, but I was really interested. Why do they call you that?
Okay. My husband actually grew up in Okera and La in Aja. And so when I moved there, I noticed where I am coming from, you see an elderly person coming, you know, you give way for the person to pass. But then they will just want to, hit you. And then I will slap them. I'm like, what's that? You see me coming. You say something. You clear the road. And then when you are greeting, you say, yes, ma, yes, sir. And then I now notice that respect. I now notice they didn't have that. So I used to, beat those children on the streets. And they would go and report to their parents. And then they would say, who did that? They say, it's one lady. And because they didn't know my name, they knew my son's name. They say, I'm Mommy Marho. So that was how the name went around.
What's your son's name?
Marho.
Oh, lovely. I like that. And then he just stopped.
So then from there, everybody, anything, when Marho is coming, everybody cleared the road. And so that was how.
It reminds me of, growing up at the time, there was always one lady in my street that time, where once you just hear her name and you hear, oh, she's coming, everybody would just clear and then make sure the place is quiet. But that's really awesome what you were doing with your foundation. When did your foundation start, the Marho's Foundation?
We started when we moved into Okera. Now, when we got to Okera in 2015, there were gang wars. I'm sure you would have heard about that. Yes, there were a lot of shooting and then a lot of teenage pregnancies. There were too many chaos. And my children will grow there. So I had to take it upon myself and said, if we keep letting it just, don't do anything about it, it will go beyond what we can handle. So I decided to start finding out where all those children on the streets live. And then I found a lot of them lived in uncompleted buildings, some in wooden houses.
How old are we talking about? How old?
Oh, okay, like we have 2 years old. Yes, from 14-year-old teenager.
Wow.
So she's in school, the son is in the, so while we are teaching her, the child is with me.
Wow.
They all come to the compound, and then we have 25. Now we have 30. We have a 30-year-old from an abusive relationship. She was actually taken, now, because they think Lagos is the in thing, a lot of parents give out their children to come do labor work and the rest. Now, this lady that I rescued, she just clocked 30, was brought in at 14, and she was abused.
You said 13, yes?
Yes.
All right.
And she was abused. And in the process, the guy is always beating her and everything. So I had to rescue her. So she and her 3 children live with us.
Wow.
So that's how, from there, we just, thanks to my husband, if he didn't open his doors to his house, I don't think I would have had the access to be able to do so much. So that was what we did.
I want you to play me the perfect scenario, because I am trying to think about it from how you get the children. Because I can imagine some of them would probably have parents who were not in support of this. Even if they're not willing to, I can just imagine a mother say, oh, I'm not willing to take care of my child the way I should, but I'm not willing to just give my child to you. But what's the process like when you see a child on the streets? What happens from there?
Okay, so when I see a child, most times when I say a child just roaming, I try to watch. Every time I see the child, maybe once, twice, I will
when you say you try to watch, do you mean you or your team? Or
no, it's just my husband and I, but actually myself.
Okay.
So I go buy things myself, and then the process I go around, they know me. I go everywhere. So by going there, I will look, and then I will ask you, where do you live? Have you eaten? That's the first thing I notice. Food is the one thing they use to get them. So I ask, have you eaten? And they will say, no. I was okay, where do you live? And then I go to their house. And then I meet the parents. I was like, why now? Because even though we live in Lagos, it's not developed like that. So I'll have to speak pidgin. Mama, why you feed this boy or this girl? And then they'll say, no food, or I cannot afford it. And most times they have so many children.
Wow.
So I said, okay, I feel take them, make I train them. But they come house and everything, and then she said, okay.
When you say you go to come house, so you go to come house like weekends or? They
don't go again, no. So they just come.
So you just say.
So they just come to visit.
Let's make sure that's very clear, so that people don't get the wrong impression. Yes. So what you're saying is there is an opportunity for the child to go home if they want to.
Oh yes,
but
they go home.
Most of the time they choose not to go home.
Yes, and I always force them to go.
Okay.
Because I don't want them to now, because they are now a bit comfortable, they'll now think, oh, I can't stay in my house.
But every child loves comfort.
Yeah, but also appreciate.
If you tell me you're giving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'll come.
But I always want them to appreciate that you are privileged to be picked from your siblings.
Yeah.
So I always make sure that every weekend they have something to take back home. Just, mommy and daddy take, and not every one of them have a mommy and a daddy. We have those that the father actually lost his wife 5 years ago and didn't know. So his children were scattered around to different homes. So we had to go get all of them.
All right. So when I was looking through some of the pictures that you sent, I could see that there are amazing activities. They were playing chess. They had I could tell that it was drama. They had like a drama sketch or something. What else happens when they are there?
Okay, apart from learning to read and write, we also teach them financial literacy, and we teach them coding and programming. We teach them robotics.
You teach them coding and programming. You teach them financial literacy.
Yes, because they are street children. They don't have time. They don't have time to sit in a normal class. But my own is I'm trying to as much as possible make them get at least, if nothing, their normal diploma. So you have an SSC, WAEC, and then also teach you how to be self-sustainable. So you can go out on those streets and then be able to take care of yourself, not joining gangs and getting pregnant and then having babies and then giving the government more work.
I am sure you also spend time teaching them about these things.
Oh yes, we have moral values. Yes, we have moral values. We have character attributes. I always tell them, because they are street children.
But how do you do you have like teachers that speak their language? What I mean is for those, I don't know.
Yes, we have a lot. We have even those from Cotonou.
Oh wow.
Yes, we have those from Benin. We have, from Niger. We have from Borno. Right. So what we do is when they come in and they can't speak English, we have someone that puts them through. My husband is very good.
What is the highest amount of, what's the highest age for anyone who is, you can take from 2 to what age?
Yes, to 25.
25?
Yes.
All right, to 25.
Yes, the reason why we pegged it at 25 is because most of them at that 25, they're already formed. There's not much you could do. Yes.
All right,
so,
awesome.
And we don't force them, because it's not all street kids that want to be changed. A lot of them like the streets.
Okay, so finally, I know one way or the other you would also need support, you would also need help.
Yes.
What are the things that you require to help you build this? Because I know at a point, the space wouldn't be enough to take more people in.
We still have a lot.
So what are those things you would really need to help, push this dream higher?
Like now, we need a facility for the hostel. Our hostel has really run down. So most of the children have to go back to their different, if you go even to our social media pages, you see that a lot of them live in not good conditions. So we really need the hostel, and then I need a bus where I can take them to church. So we have the Muslims that go to mosque. So, but most of them always want to go with me to church. We have a very small car.
Wow.
So we can't afford to take them.
To church.
And that Sunday, I don't know what they are doing.
So because you have to go to church.
Yes. So in a space, most times we actually lost some of them because last year they came to the cult boys from Ikorodu came to Ajah, and then they killed some of our students. So those are the things that we are trying to protect. We can't protect all.
As well. All right, it is indeed a lot. First of all, Mommy Marho, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
What I'll probably do is share the pictures, some of the pictures that you sent,
yes,
so
no
people
problem.
can see it as well.
No problem.
It is very important that we show love, humanity,
yes,
as much as we can. It is really, really interesting that you are doing this. Thank you so much for your heart, your commitment as well.
Thank you so much.
All right, do not go anywhere. The show continues, all right? The show continues. It's been a great one. For those of you that have been singing my right song up and down, I'm going to catch you guys. You heard the song, right? You like the song,
native,
right?
Yeah, I like the dance moves.
The dance moves?
Yes.
You don't like the song?
I like the song.
You didn't say I like the song. I like the song.
I like the song.
Don't like my song, go. Don't like my song, go.
But there was no snail.
I'll come to your house. I'll come to the house. All right, thank you. Just joking.
No
just
problem.
Joking. All right, thank you so much, guys. Do not go anywhere. The show continues. We'll be right back. Still Wake Up Nigeria, okay?
Beauty.